Editing.
Not true.
Or editing, obviously.
Queen of the Perrier water. Very sensible indeed.
Now, the ghost of a man who shows off the wound that killed him and a spirit still fretting over the job he did in life. Yes, it's time for another look at London's favourite haunts in our series heralding the approach of Halloween.
Now, for tonight's instalment, Phil Bales has gone to the heartland of the capital's legal profession. And for the latest in his ghost hunting expeditions, he's got some expert help.
Spirits and the bar. Beneath the eerie gas lamp glow of London's Temple, the bar is of the lawyerly kind, the spirits of the supernatural type. Above the historic inns and barristers' chambers, the wind moans like a restless phantom trapped between this world and the next. Or perhaps that is precisely what we hear, haunting these deserted passageways at night. Because for centuries there have been countless sightings of terrifying ghouls on this very spot.
Well, this is certainly one of the most atmospheric parts of London. This is the Inner Temple, a gaslit oasis just off Fleet Street. And it was founded by the Knights Templars in around 1119. And one of their buildings still survives, the Round Church, built in 1185. And this is acknowledged as being one of the most psychically charged buildings in the whole of London. And those who are of a mediumistic or psychic nature say that the mere touching of the fabric of the church can give them quite a psychic shock.
Which spirits have actually been seen here, and are they friendly?
One of them perhaps not that friendly. It's Geoffrey de Mandeville, the Earl of Essex, who lived during a period in England's history called the Anarchy, when Stephen and Matilda were slugging it out over the throne of England. And to cut a long story short, one day in a skirmish with King Stephen's army, he took off his helmet to wipe the sweat from his brow and got sniped in the head by a stray arrow. He was brought back, buried somewhere in this vicinity. We don't know exactly where now. And his ghost, though, has not rested here. He wanders this area in a suit of burnished armour. And if you've got any doubt whatsoever that it's the ghost of Geoffrey de Mandeville, look a bit closer. He still has the arrow protruding from his head. A lot of people do see things around the temple. There have been sort of, if you like, sort of disembodied views of people just moving in the background. They've caught glimpses of shadows moving across walls. And of course you have one chap who was known as Hanging Judge Jeffreys. He's actually seen, or said to be seen, walking through the courtyards clutching a wad of legal papers, his gown billowing behind him. And as you watch, he's quite solid at first, but as he moves along, he slowly fades away and dissolves into nothingness. Well, this is the back door of the Old Cock Tavern on Fleet Street. And in the 1980s, an Australian barmaid who was working here came out one Friday night to bring the rubbish out, stood up and suddenly found herself face to face with a disembodied head of a man.
Oh my goodness.
Well, she let out an almighty Antipodean scream. Went racing back into the pub where the landlady and the bar staff calmed her down with a few brandies, and then they suggested she lie down. So she went upstairs to lie down, only got to the first floor landing and she started screaming again. So they went to see what was wrong with her, and lo and behold, she's standing in front of a portrait of Oliver Goldsmith crying out, "That's him, that's the guy I saw, that's Oliver Goldsmith."
And where is Oliver now?
Oddly enough, he's buried just over here, a little grave that says, "Here lies Oliver Goldsmith." His grave was hit by a bomb in the Second World War, so perhaps it should read, "Here lies Oliver Goldsmith, here lies Oliver Goldsmith." And I think we can guess which part of him lies over by the pub door.
Though dead since 1774, the spirit of Oliver Goldsmith remained undiluted in Ye Old Cock. Until the tavern caught fire just a few years back. His portrait was charred. Who knows how ghastly the haunting face of his ghost looks now.
He puts the fear of God into me, that man.
It's normally the lawyers in that area that give people the fright.
That's very, very true, absolutely. Now, this one really upsets